This will be user interface for the Garmin DashCam. Right here, we're looking at the landing page. On the upper left-hand corner, you've got your GPS signal. Next to that, you have your Bluetooth connection. And some of these you won't have unless you are actually connected to your Bluetooth device or at home. Next to that, we have our telephone icon. Next, we have the record feature, so that's going to be for your dash cam. The current time, the outdoor temperature, which will only be visible if you have it connected to your cell phone using the Garmin Connect, which is right there. And then we have our power indicator. There is one icon that you will see if you are at your home and connected to your Wi-Fi network. That'll be a little Wi-Fi indicator over there. On the main page right here, we have several options. We have where to and view the map. And then over here, quick links to a lot of our settings and or applications. Right there, it's a little faded out, but that is a stop route. And then here we have our apps if we wanted to look at all the apps that we have at our disposal. And then we have our volume control and our setting. Right now we're going to concentrate on our settings because there's a lot to go through right here. We have a hamburger button on the left hand side. This will allow us to access more information about specific areas, but it's not accessible on all pages. We have a up-down arrow right there, but we also have the ability to drag and drop because this is a touch capacitive screen, very much like a cell phone. Starting at the top, we have our updates. This is for our map, software, and more. Selecting this, if I was connected to a Wi-Fi network, would allow me to see, hey, this is where you can update your maps and software, as well as any subscriptions that you might have, like red light camera. Coming down, we have our map display. Well, right here, we've got at the top, vehicle icons. Selecting this will allow me to sort through all of the vehicle icon choices that I have. Now, some of these I did bring over from another device, and they're not as high res as the ones that you're gonna get with this. So just know, they might look cool, but they're not as high res as the rest of them. Moving on, we have driving map view. Right now I have it on 3D. Gives you a little preview right over there, but I can select north up, and that's going to change how the map is, and it'll show you a preview right over there. And then track up, again, whichever way you're going now becomes the way that's up instead of the north, which would always show north facing up. I like the 3D view because it kind of pushes the map to a slight angle, making it feel a little more realistic. Coming back, we're going to select map details. Well, I like to see everything and anything on the map, so I have more. But you could select normal, and you can see it's taking away some information and less. If I come back up to more, you'll see what it actually took away, which might be a little tricky to see, but there's a road indicator over there. We're going to select cancel to come back. So that was our map details. Now we have our map themes. Right now it's Garmin. It's just going to be the coloration of the maps. And if I come down to something like France, you'll notice there are subtle changes to the map coloration. Nice that it's there, but not one of the more important things. And you've got lots of choices that you can go through. Selecting cancel and back, I'm just going to drag this. So now we have map layers. Selecting this feature will allow me to select what shows up. So right here I have up ahead. So this is going to be up ahead places. If I select this, you notice it turns it on and off, but this one has an arrow. If I select the arrow around the camera, this will allow me to put, hey, up ahead. What do I want? What order? So I could select, drag and drop, or just click the arrows and it will move things around. We have 3D buildings, 3D terrain, traffic, travel history, national parks, and that's everything. I'll show you the up aheads a little later. Auto zoom enabled. What this will do is when you start a route and you go onto a main thoroughfare, something like New Jersey State Turnpike or Palisades Parkway, it will pull the map out from wherever you have it set for your close view when you're doing normal driving around town and side street. Coming down, we have maps installed. If I select this, it will let me know, hey, I have North American maps, 7 maps. I could click the arrow here and it's going to show me all the maps. So you got Foursquare map, basic 3D, America. There's a lot in here. Canada, Mexico, points of interest, as well as national parks version 2. We can also select the arrow over here and this will show us map detail. Again, if we were on Wi-Fi, it is the good and bad thing about having this accessible for Wi-Fi in that, yes, you can now update your maps without having to take the GPS inside. But that also means to see some of these things, you actually need to be on your Wi-Fi network. Related items will show up at the bottom of any of our selection areas because Garmin thinks, hey, if you were looking for these, maybe these are some things that you'll find interesting or we're actually looking for. So in this case, navigation, traffic, and drive assist all under the map display area. We're going to select back because we're going to actually go into navigation itself. So at the top, we have the ability for calculation mode, fastest time, or straight line. Obviously, if you're driving, you don't want a straight line. That doesn't make much sense. Avoidances, selecting avoidances will let you pick what things you don't want to do. So in my case, I don't want to do U-turns and I don't want to do ferries. I do not mind highways or tolls. Normally I'm traveling with my wife, so I don't care about carpool lanes. I do care about unpaved roads. So just make sure you come in here and you select what you want to avoid. Custom avoidances, this will allow you to add a specific road to avoid or a specific area. If you're selecting a specific area, you pretty much create a box around that area and then the GPS will know to avoid it. If I want to avoid a road, I could come in here and here we could see main thoroughfare right there is in yellow, side streets are in this teal, and then tertiaries are this gray. But I could come in here and I could say this road right here and set one of 3 points to avoid. So I can go boop, boop, and select next, and now it'll avoid that road. Environmental zones, selecting this will allow you to allow these types of areas, avoid these types of areas, or ask before. So I'm going to select ask before, and then we're going to come down. Restricted mode, well, that you probably should take off right away. That prevents the GPS from actually being utilized while the vehicle is moving or the GPS is moving. If you've got a passenger with you, you kind of want to be able to do that, as well as use the voice commands. GPS simulator will allow you to simulate how the GPS would act without having to actually be out on the road. And then here we have our related items. Selecting back, that was our navigation. Now we're doing wireless and Bluetooth. Well, here you can see Bluetooth is on. It is connected to my Pixel 5 currently. I could search for devices. This is the friendly name for my particular device, and then enable Wi-Fi, save networks, and then search for networks. If you want to avoid the pop-ups that I keep getting while I'm doing this, you can take off the check mark for the Wi-Fi network, and then you won't see that anymore. Coming down, we have driver assistance. Well, here we go. Driving alerts, Animal Crossing, construction zones, lane crossing, blah, blah, blah. If I come in here, I can select what I want to have alerts for or things to show up for. All of these will show up as a little icon on the left-hand side of the map. And it is useful, but not always accurate because it is based on the GPS's database, and current signage can change very rapidly. Speeding alert, well, tone when you are exceeding the speed limit. I might have turned both of those off. Reduce speed tone, I like this. You can turn this on or off, but if you live in an area that likes to drop the speed on you very quickly, having that on is helpful. It's not always 100% accurate, but it is nice and will let you know, hey, maybe you should start slowing down. Route preview, well, when you set up a point A to point B, over on this side of the GPS, something will pop up saying, you're gonna start here, you're gonna go here, you're gonna do this. I didn't exactly like that, so I took that off, but that's what that option is. Brake planning, upcoming services, brake reminder. This, I have mixed feelings about. It generally will run at a 2-hour increment. So when you hit 2 hours, it will say, hey, maybe you should take a break. Show services on long trips. So when that break comes up, that's what the reminder's for, it will show you, hey, here's some gas stations, here's some places to eat. I am going to actually take all of those off because I found them a little more annoying than helpful for me. Coming down, we have our proximity alert, alerts near proximity points. So if we select audio, you could say single tone, continuous tone, or off. So that's going to be things like, hey, those speed zones, things like that, types of alerts. In my case, I just have the Garmin red light camera and it'll go boop and let me know that there's a problem. Here we come into our specific dash cam stuff for our driver's assist. We have our forward collision warning, low, medium, high, or off. That lets you know, hey, how far do I have to be from the car in front of me for this to actually work? I'm going to put that to medium because I probably should leave that. And you can see it is enabled only for when you are going over 40 miles an hour. Go alert enabled, well, it has dash cam, so what it will do is if traffic starts moving and you haven't noticed, you'll hear an audible alert and see a notification on the map saying, hey, maybe you should start moving. That's actually a pretty good one, especially if you're in stop and go traffic. Lane departure warning, I have this turned off because the white line and the yellow line, if you weave over that, it will let you know. If you also have black tar lines or stick, it was a little more sensitive than I would have liked, so I turned that off, but it is there. And then related items, we have our dash cam options, which, as you might imagine, we're getting to next. Selecting our dash cam options, here we have camera placement, selecting this. Where is it placed? So left, center, or right. Mine is in the center. Vehicle height, do you have a truck, van, or SUV? Then it's tall. If not, it's a normal car. And then our alignment. Here we can actually align the camera. So this is what you can kind of see from my camera. The one issue I have with this is the camera itself is in the middle of the GPS, unlike the previous one, which I had, which was on the right-hand side. This makes it a little trickier to get around. Enable recording at startup, meaning as soon as it's powered on, you don't have to do anything. It simply starts the camera for you. Video resolution, well, if I select this, you've got 1080-30 or 720-30. Both are considered HD, but one uses more space on your SD card. Incident detection, well, this is set to medium for me, but high, low. What it does is the internal gyroscope, if it senses a shake or shudder, it will automatically save a recording. Record audio, in my case I have disabled, but that will allow you to record audio for the device from the GPS. In some states you're not allowed to, so you might need to turn that off. That's how you can do that. Data overlay, location, speed, date. I can turn these on or off, but that will embed that information into the video itself. Coming down, unsaved videos, what will happen? Well, in my case, it will delete when full, so it will just start recording over the old stuff, or prompt for deletion. I don't care, it can just record over, and then some more related items. Wireless camera. Well, if you have either of these models, you'd be able to add them to your GPS as a visible point that it could show you, but I don't have them, so I can't. Here we have display. We have color mode, auto, night and day. Night looks like this. Day is what we currently were looking at. Auto will switch between the two based on time of day, not actual ambient light. There is no ambient light sensor on this GPS. Here we have brightness. I currently have it set to 100%. Display timeout. Well, you have between a minute and all the way to never being able to turn it off. Here we have screenshot. Well, that will allow you to set a screenshot by pressing an icon on your GPS's screen. It's a screenshot. I'm not entirely sure why that's relevant. And then we have related items. Moving on, we have traffic. Well, here we go. Traffic Drive app required. So that's going to require you to have the app on your smartphone. You've got optimized route, so I can on request or automatically switch routes. That part is not required of the app itself. Current provider, subscriptions, unit and time, current time. Well, here you go. You could set that up and you could set it for automatic. Time format, 2412 or UTC. Units, you can do imperial or US. Position format, selecting that. Well, you've got coordinates, lots of choices there. Display format, more options there. And then you notice these are grayed out. That means you cannot change them. You can reset if you happen to screw things up. And then related items. Moving on, language and keyboard. So here we have our voice languages. Notice that there's only one for the US that supports the OKG command, but you do have lots of options. The one that supports the OKG command is also the one that's going to tell you street names and turn right at the light. Text language, as you might imagine, you have lots of choices. Keyboard language, well, I have it on American QWERTY, but you have options for other choices as well if you'd like. Device, that's going to show you, well, here we go. Here's about our particular device. Lots of places that you can get information from. Regulatory, this is going to be a lot of like things to read through. Software license, it's all in here. So if you were inclined, you could go through all that through the device. And that's everything in this portion of the setting. If we come back, as I mentioned before, each of these is going to bring you to a specific area. So dash cam, that's going to bring you to our dash cam. Selecting back, we have gallery, going to warn us, hey, you sure you want to do that? Yep. And here's a gallery of what our dash cam got, which will show us all of our saved areas. We have our route planner, so I can create a route by going click here, click here, click here, and it's showing us the map again. I'm going to select back. Trip history, here we go. It's showing you my last trip, which was up in Lake Placid. So total number of trips, total time that the GPS has been running, and total mileage that the GPS has tracked. I can also select this option, and it'll give us a lot of data on this route. Like, this is actually really cool. And if we wanted to get rid of this, select the hamburger button and then delete. And then this information is all gone. Selecting back. Weather is only going to be accessible if you have it linked to your smartphone. If you don't, you're not going to have access to that. Over here, these boxes, as I mentioned before, well, that's going to be more settings. So here we have the owner's manual. Each one of these will be a link to something that you can look up. We have our OKG commands. So here we go. It's letting you know these are things that you can do. So OKG, find, start, blah, 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 save places, start recording, end recording. So this would be good to go through to make sure that you have all of your OKG commands memorized. Dash cam, again, we were there before. It's just bringing us to another place. Gallery, same thing. Phone, this will allow us to access our phone. Notice now it shows my phone and the connection. I can call home, I can access the phone book, browse, dial, call history, and voice dial. Won't be showing you that. There's a lot of sensitive information in there. Smartphone notifications, well, I have nothing set up, but I can toggle this on or off using the Drive app. Currently have that turned off. Weather, we showed you that before. Photo live, if I come in here, going to show us where some cameras are. I have a subscription for that. You might not have access to that. Traffic, selecting that. It's going to bring up any traffic. This portion is using the Garmin GPS itself, not actual data from my phone. But you'd see over here, there's some yellow and red. letting you know that there's traffic in that location. Weather radar, this portion you do need the smartphone for because it cannot pull this data without actually having access to your smart device. So right now we're good, but over here it's showing a little rain. They're interesting that they're there, but not necessary, because let's be honest, if you have your smartphone, you're probably going to pull that out. Route planner I showed you, trip history we saw, music controls, well, I have no media playing right now, but if I did, I could control them here. And then wireless cameras, which we saw before. You need specific things. And that is all the things that we can do for the user interface for the Garmin. If you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like, as that will help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here, you can always help fuel the next review by buying me a coffee, link in the description below. Last but not least, if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, you know what to do.